The Post-Fermi Paradox, MFCP. What if the problem is not in the universe, but in our capacity to understand? Let us begin with the wrong question. The Fermi question that dominated the entire last century. Where are they? Where are non-human intelligent beings? And why have we not seen them yet? But what if this very question is the problem? The multi-factor framework of civilizational cognition does not attempt to answer the question, do they exist or not? Instead, it reconstructs the question from its very foundations. The real question is not, are there intelligent beings in the universe? The real question is, are we as a civilization even capable of perceiving anything beyond our own cognitive boundaries? The core idea, simply stated, this model does not measure physical existence, the probability of life, nor does it assume any metaphysical or hidden truths. It is a purely epistemological model measuring civilizational perceptual capacity. That is, the ability of any civilization at a given moment in time to notice an unfamiliar phenomenon, interpret it rationally, recognize that it deserves investigation, integrate it into its scientific and cultural systems. In simpler terms, truth may pass right in front of us, but we fail to see it because our minds are not ready. The civilizational perception equation without symbols. At the heart of the model lies a simple conceptual equation. The civilizational perception index equals the product of cultural openness, technological sensitivity, analytical flexibility, and relative evidence, divided by 1 plus the obscuration or concealment factor. The point here is not calculation, but the relationships between factors, enabling factors, why we see or do not see. First, cultural openness. Does the dominant culture even allow unfamiliar questions to be asked? Or is any strange phenomenon immediately dismissed as myth, religious threat, or political danger? If culture is closed, perception collapses at its foundation, even if technology is highly advanced. Second, technological sensitivity. This factor does not mean progress in a promotional sense. It refers to diversity of detection tools, their precision, their ability to capture the unexpected. There may be perfectly real phenomena, but our instruments simply do not see them. Third, analytical flexibility. Here, we reach the heart of the philosophy of science. Can the dominant scientific paradigm absorb data that does not fit its current theories? Or does it, deny it, force it into existing interpretations? Or ignore it entirely? If science becomes rigid, anomalous data is not understood, it is excluded. Fourth, relative evidence. This is one of the most important ideas in the model. Evidence is not measured solely by the standards of our time, but by what was possible in its own era. That is, the strength of evidence is compared to the maximum detection capability available at the time. We do not judge the past by the tools of the present, nor dismiss ancient testimony simply because they lacked modern technology. The disabling factor, obscuration or concealment. Even if all perception factors are present, a dangerous question remains. Is truth allowed to appear? The obscuration factor represents institutionnelle suppression, political censorship, media distortion, or monopolization of knowledge. This factor does not erase perception instantly. It weakens it gradually. The greater the concealment, the lower the perception, even if all other factors are ideal. Why multiplication and why division? Because perception requires all factors simultaneously. The absence of just one collapses the capacity for understanding. Division ensures the model is balanced, not exaggerated, resistant to illusory amplification. From the moment to history, temporal consistency. The model does not confuse repetition with truth. Therefore, it adds a factor called temporal consistency of patterns. Simply put, if similar patterns appear across different eras and civilizations, supported by evidence appropriate to their time, their epistemic weight increases quietly, not noisily. The final picture, final civilizational perception equals perception in the present moment multiplied by temporal consistency across history. Thus, repeated narratives do not automatically become truth. Ancient testimonies are not rejected merely for being ancient. Conclusion: the heart of the Fermi paradox. This model does not say, the phenomenon is real, nor does it say, the phenomenon is an illusion. It says something more dangerous. Truth may exist, but civilization may not yet be ready to see it. And so the Fermi paradox transforms from the question, where are they, into a far deeper one. When does a civilization become capable of perception at all?